name is Sophie. I'm part of the TLS honors program, and this is going to be my review for the end of this year. An introduction for me, for just to preface everything. While I wasn't nearly as active as I had hoped, this entire year was a massive learning experience for me. I come from a very, very small school. My graduating class was 76 kids. And so this year was a bunch of new friends, new opportunities, and actually getting to see how my major of choice might go. So it's a completely new thing for me. And I really liked it. It was a lot better than what my nerve-wracked brain had thought it would be. All right. But yeah, it was a lot of new things. I consider myself, and my family really considers myself, kind of sheltered before now. I didn't really put myself out there very much. I was very in my bedroom enjoying my own thing, but this kind of put me out there. I got two friends that just love exploring San Antonio because they live off in Laredo. And so it's just been great. I've experienced a whole lot of new things, and honestly, I'm loving it. Just some knowledge and accomplishment right here. Just a little warning. Best Fest is going to be on basically every single one of my slides. I am so proud of how everything that happened at Best Fest. But just to begin this, early in last semester, I had a 3-part financial wisdom panel provided by Business Honors Program, and who was presenting was Broadway Bank. And this was really funny because last week during the Wednesday Scholar Seminar leadership thing that we went to, I recognized Jacob from who was on the panel. I forget his last name and I feel so bad for that. Caballos. Yeah, I remember him because he was the main presenter for this 3-part financial wisdom panel. It was great. It answered a bunch of questions that new students might have about just financials, what they should do with it, and it was strictly for business students, and it was great. We talked about bank accounts, how you should never share your bank account with anyone because once it's shared, you can't unshare it. And then we also talked about spending, how you should limit yourself, what you should save, always have an emergency fund. And that was very nice. I just enjoyed it. It happened once a month for 3 months, and it was just great overall. I really learned a lot going through that. And then my first business classes were this year. First one here at UTSA in general was AIS for business. And what we did in that class, I don't know if many other AIS classes do something this big, but we had a final project that was worth 50% of our grade, basically. And it was the Best Fest project. We had to run a business on Best Fest. It didn't necessarily have to be successful. We didn't have to break even. We just had to run it and do our best. However, my class went above and beyond. We sold a completely unique product at Best Fest, which was capes. We sold 3 different types of capes, and it was great. And we sold out 3 hours before Best Fest closed. Wow. And we made hundreds of dollars over break even. And that was just, we had amazing advertisement, good communication. Everybody was fully invested in this project, and it was amazing. And honestly, we had one boy. His name was, I can't remember his name, but I think we nicknamed him like Will. But he was the advertisement boy. He was bolting out into the crowd and guilt tripping people into buying capes, and it was beautiful. But it was just, we were so proud of ourselves in that moment because all of us were freshmen. This was all our first class because it was at 9 a.m. And it was a blast. And then that right there with the 3.9 is referring to my GPA. I'm hoping to maintain that through the end of this semester as well. But back at my old school, we had very difficult classes, and I never really got above a 3.6, a 3.7 when it came to my GPA. And that was always something that kind of bugged me. So keeping it so high so early on really like made me excited and happy and surprised me, honestly. So I was very, very proud of that. And I was very shocked as well when I saw it come out. And then moving on to my leadership and professional development. As you can see, there's Best Fest again. When it came to Best Fest, I led the finance team for Best Fest. And it was a group of boys, so you can imagine how that went. I had them all assigned to their specific jobs. We all worked things out, made sure everything was very neatly put together, and it really helped overall. And I led presentations. I'd have to remember which boy had which job, pull him up to help me with the presentation about what he did. And I just helped facilitate communication. It helped so much with just the finances and figuring out how much we could spend here and here on Best Fest. It was great. And then there was the Business Honors Program. That was for some more professional development. I attended some lunch and learns during the first semester. My favorite one was definitely with Yahoo. They gave us really the inner workings of what it's like to run a business, like what you're always thinking about. And they even gave us like some sneak peeks onto their future projects, and it was great. And it was really helpful to just see that in person. And then moving on to Roadrunner Productions. Roadrunner Productions, it is the group that runs all the events here on UTSA. Well, all the big events mostly. They run Best Fest, they run DIA, they run Rowdy's Roundup, all of those massive events. And basically what I'm trying to aim for is they have been lacking in an excursions chair for a very long time in Roadrunner Productions. And what I'm hoping to do is next year, I'm going to join just the subcommittee in general, see how I like it. And then I'm going to aim for the chair at the end of hopefully sophomore year. I'm going to aim for the excursions chair, because what the excursions chair does is it facilitates, they facilitate just, they gather up students from all around campus that maybe don't have cars, can't explore around, and they can't just see how beautiful this area of San Antonio is and how much it has to offer. So what they do is, with the help of the university, they create these outings I think it's every weekend, where they take the students around San Antonio and they take them to do an event. It could be the zoo, it could be an escape room, we could take them to the Pearl. And I just think I could really be a good fit for that chair, because I live across the street. I know this area of San Antonio so well, and I know the beautiful spots. I know just anywhere we could go, and I think I would do really well in that. And so I'm just really excited to aim for that, because honestly, because they don't have an excursions chair, they don't do that now. And I want to be able to provide that for students. And I just think it would be a great thing to aim for next year. Moving on to service and community involvement. Earlier in the first semester, TLS here at UTSA, we went to Haven for Hope for their trunk or treat. And I have to be completely honest, I was nervous about it at first, because I was dressed up as Anna from Frozen. I did not look like her at all, but I loved it. We were helping to just direct the kids into the right halls, but there was this one little girl. I was sat outside, oh goodness, she was so cute. I was sat outside the Inside Out chair, and she looked at me, and she just, from across the hall, you just hear her scream, Anna, and she sprinted up to me for a hug. It was the cutest thing ever. But that day was just a hard day for me in general, so having that was amazing, and it really kind of just opened me up to everything, and it was great. And it really made me see what I could do for the community. And I really hope that we continue to make this a tradition, because it was beautiful, it was amazing, and I really hope this could become a TLS tradition for us. And then this is actually going to be starting tomorrow. It's Guide Dogs in Texas. Honors, finally, is offering an animal-related service project. Or a possible service project. Right now it's only acting as an event, but I'm hoping to turn it into a service, maybe an experience for me as well. Guide Dogs of Texas, we are going to help with just showing the dogs around campus, help train them. And tomorrow is the first meeting for that. And I'm so excited about that. I love working with animals in general, and just, it's great because I can't drive personally. And so getting to do this on campus is going to make it 10 times better and so much easier for me to do. And these are just some photos I took. These are for Guide Dogs Over Texas. Sadly, these are just some stock photos since we haven't been able to do anything for them yet. But these right here, this is Mauricio in a massive dinosaur costume. And he was so popular in that costume. And this was a friend of mine took this photo of me preparing to be Anna right after our history class together. And it was so much fun. And moving on to memories. I rehearsed this one. This was my chicken-shaped chicken in the Chick-fil-A chicken. And that was just super funny. Earlier in this semester, I went to see Les Mis with my aunt and uncle. They invited me to go view it at the Majestic Theater. It was stunning. It was beautiful. I loved it. These right here are my friends that I made here at UTSA. We're a little trio now. This is Brianna, this is Carolina, this was us at Hopscotch, just going around enjoying ourselves. It's downtown, I don't know if you've ever been, but it's an interactive art museum. It's a little pricey, but I definitely recommend it. It is gorgeous in there. And then this was when I had first met Carolina. She was squatted in front of the microwave, making sure her mac and cheese wouldn't overflow. And I don't know, that just always sticks with me because it was very funny. This right here was me and Bree. This was our first time having that college experience of laying out on the lawn, the one you always see in the movies, where you're eating lunch, doing homework, just out on. That was our first time doing it, and that's going to stick with me forever. These two right here, I don't really know them anymore. Sadly, I was out on the Guad lawn at 1 a.m. one day and I was playing volleyball with them. And suddenly they just struck this pose and I had to snap a picture. And it was a very interesting situation, but we were just playing volleyball at 1 a.m. out there and it was a blast. This right here was me preparing for the murder mystery with Prism. And this was a blast. I sadly am very shy when it comes to going to prison meetings. I wish I wasn't, but this was a murder mystery. I sadly was not the murderer, nor was I murdered. But I was a sassy fashionista, and it was great. And we all had these characters, and it was so much fun to do. These right here are my aunt and uncle. I am very family oriented. I love my family, and this is one of the few times a year I get to see my aunts and uncles on my dad's side. This is my Uncle Cliff, this is my Aunt Sarah, but I realized this year that we're finally getting to the point where all the kids of the aunts and uncles are getting old enough where the adults are finally starting to goof off as well. And it's just so much fun to see because my uncle was done with his younger sister. This right here was me and Carolina. We made it onto the story of UTSA housing during the color war on the Alvarez lawn. This right here is Carolina, and this is her absolutely rocking me with a bunch of powder in the ear. It took me like 3 days to get it all out. But it was a lot of fun. We won the color war, and it was just so much fun. And I don't know if you recognize this trend, but earlier last semester, there was a trend going around where they had these little Wednesday dolls. And they were those dolls where you could flip the hair back and they look bald. And it was a trend going around. And so my friends and I, we went to Five Below and we saw it. And just one had it pulled back. And then we all just looked at each other and we just knew. We gathered up all the dolls, made them bald, like flipped back their hair, no damage to the actual doll. But we flipped back all their hairs and put them right back where they were. And that was just a really funny photo I found in my gallery. Moving on then to my SMART goals for this semester. It was to maintain a 3.9 GPA, which I think I'm doing a very good job of at the moment. Find an animal-related service opportunity, which Guide Dogs of Texas pulled through on that, thank goodness. I've been trying to find one. all over. I found one last semester, but I lost it and I haven't found it since, and it broke my heart because UTSA suggested everything. And then kickstart my experiences. I managed to do this, and I was working with my aunt a lot more, so it could be some professional development. She runs her own small business over at Traders Village, and we sell jewelry, and I work there as an associate. I talk with customers, I help her restock, I do a lot of things, and it's going to help build my knowledge, and because I have to figure out, hey, how much do we have to make today to really make this worthwhile? And we just have to discuss things back and forth about small business all the time. And I also started helping with my mother's cookie business. She is a teacher who runs a cookie business on the side, and I really want to help her do that. So I've started making posters for her. I gave some to George earlier, like a month ago. I gave some to him, and it was really nice. And I've just been trying to kind of advertise for her to start, but when she starts finally getting orders on campus, I'm also going to be working to deliver those orders, communicate with customers. I'm going to be doing most of the work for her so my mom can focus on her main job, and she just has to bake the cookies. I can handle the rest for her. And I just think that would be really great for her because summertime rolls around. She doesn't really get paid in the summertime because she's a teacher, sadly. But that business really helps us as a family, and it's great. And then, what are my summer plans? I love the beach, so I'm going to try and go to the beach as much as I can this summer. Sadly, I won't be doing much professionally except working with my aunt to kind of build her business more. But this is kind of our stall. It's massive. We have 3 whole units dedicated to this jewelry store, and one's on a corner, so it opens up twice. And so it's just great. And then I definitely plan to train my dog more. Guide Dogs Over Texas is probably going to help with that a little bit because I think they're going to probably teach us some more training techniques, and that's going to be really helpful because this thing is a brat and a half. I love her to death, but she is way too hyper. And then this is my little brother carrying her, and this is that same little brother right here with the backwards ponytail on. And I just hope to spend more time with my family this year or this summer. I spent a lot of time with them this year either way because they're real close by, but I really hope to spend a lot of time with them anyway. And that's it. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Well, good job. Good job. I do have a couple of comments for you. So I really loved your connection to Haven for Hope. And you said, you know, you hoped that TLS provides more of that. Well, I want to tell you, it will if you help make that happen.
Yeah.
So with all of the things that you're doing, I really want to encourage you to be not just a participant, but an active member of the community making those things happen. And I want to also agree. I thought that what you all did at Haven was phenomenal. I loved it. When it worked out, I was like, this is great. So continue to think about that. I like that you're in the honors business program, and I want to really encourage you to continue to really very actively seek those opportunities outside of the classroom. I can tell that the Best Quest opportunity was something that looms large with you. And I think that perhaps the honors business program, or maybe it's an RSO, but your in-class experience, when we fast forward 3 years, hopefully will be just a small part of what you've been able to do at the university. But it only works like that, Sophie, when the student makes it work.
Yes.
It doesn't work like that unless you really put, and I also wanted to share, it's time. You just have to put time into those sorts of things. And so I hope to see next year when we're doing this presentation that, you know, now you need to take that first year to get your feet under you. Don't get me wrong. That's what the first year should be. But I know that there's a lot of potential there. So make sure you take full advantage of all the good stuff that you've got. And then the last thing I would say is I hope that you will come and see other presentations. Of course, we tell you all, make sure you come to at least one. But I think you could, you could see the example from other students, and it might help you with some ideas of things to do, as well as ideas for presentation. But good job. And it sounds like overall a good first year.
Yeah, it was a lot of learning experience for me. It was a
Well,
lot.
everything's new.
That's true, exactly. Everything's new. But I'm really proud of it. I also realized I completely forgot to mention on my experiences page that I did when I was talking about experiences, I completely forgot to mention that I did sign up for an honors course business class next semester that they said will be counting towards an experience. So I'm really excited for that.
Good.
But yeah, I'm also really gonna aim for that excursions chair at Roadrunner Productions, because Roadrunner Productions really needs to get out there. It's such an important group. They don't have enough members. They have 6 people running it, and then 3 or 4 members.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm really hoping to help them out by joining.
They're a good group.
They are so good.
They're a good group. Well, have a good afternoon. Our next presentation is not until 4:30, so I'm gonna head back to the office and I'll shut all this down.
All righty. Thank you so much.
All right, take care. Good job.
Thank you.